Well, it looks like, to no surprise, Ubisoft is facing rough waters ahead, involving not only a big release in the near future, but the company's future overall. Let's break that all down up next. What's going on, guys? It's Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. Now, I was gonna make this video strictly about Assassin's Creed Shadows being delayed. We're gonna talk about that later. But with Ubisoft and their track record as of late, I'm dedicating a whole video to go in on Ubisoft because there's a lot wrong here. So I want to kick off this video by getting the general statement out there that any news we talk about today comes as no surprise to me, and it shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone else out there. So up first, Ubisoft has consistently gone down this road of making bad choices, and that's more than anyone in the gaming world, which is a pretty damn impressive feat whenever you look at what other people are doing. Yeah, that's impressive. Now, there are three separate stories here today that kind of blend into one big shitstorm, for lack of better terms, for Ubisoft. But let's highlight the glaring issues and the problem at hand. So up first, in case you haven't heard, Assassin's Creed Shadows is delayed once more. And this news came out on Thursday of this week. This now takes the game from its original February 14th release date to March 20th, and let's dive into what Mark Alexis Cody had to say on Twitter, and it's a pretty big statement. Quote, "Since November, we've been thrilled to share our progress through gameplay overviews, and the overwhelming excitement has truly inspired us. Each week has brought us valuable feedback from our community. While we've already made remarkable strides, we believe a few additional weeks are needed to implement that feedback and ensure an even more ambitious and engaging day one experience. We remain committed to delivering a high-quality, immersive experience, fostered by ongoing dialogue between our players and development teams. We know you're eager to learn more about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and we're excited to share that more updates will be coming out very soon." Now, long story short here, I think this has to do with a sentiment I've been pretty adamant on. It's sad to say, but I think the success and future of Ubisoft all hinges on Assassin's Creed Shadows and how it fares in the public. If the game fails or falls short of these projected sales numbers, there's going to be a lot of change that will come. Whether it's a studio closure, sell-off of the company, or whatever else you kind of want to put out there, that's yet to be seen. Now, on top of that statement, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said in a press release that this delay was due to a renewed focus on gameplay quality, which again, he's basically saying this game needs to hit. But in reality, it shouldn't have to come down to just one game. It should have been based off the totality of Ubisoft games released recently. Which, if we do look back on them, we got titles like X-Defiant, which I might add is closing down in June. Assassin's Creed, which we're talking about that today. Skull and Bones, if you remember that one. Star Wars Outlaws, everybody remembers that one. And Prince of Persia, which I want to add, out of any of those games I just talked about, it was received well amongst fans. But again, going back to flat out dumb choices being made at Ubisoft, they shut down that studio because the game quote-unquote underperformed. Now this brings us to the next story brought to us from Insider Gaming, and this report was done by Tom Henderson. This is where an analyst kind of predicted that Ubisoft will face its most challenging year in company history. The article read as followed, quote, "2024 is nothing short of a disaster for Ubisoft. In fact, it's safe to say it's had a rough few years. Ubisoft stock has fallen from its February 2021 high of £84.60 to a mere £12.53, at least at the time of this writing. That's a massive 85% reduction in stock price from its all-time high. To put things in perspective, if you invested $1,000 into Ubisoft during its peak, you'd now only be left with $150. Okay, well, that sucks for anybody that did invest in Ubisoft. I'm not here to provide financial advice, but yeah, that's a loss. Now, I won't sift through that whole article, but I do highly recommend you go check it out. But basically, it catalogs all the shortcomings Ubisoft has had as a company in the past few years, and potentially where the company could be headed if it fails. This report also talks about how Ubisoft is pumping money into games like Project U, Project Scout, which is a battle royale inspired by Apex Legends, and Project Maverick, which if you stuck around this channel, we talked about before, and it's this Far Cry extraction shooter. Now, where does all this lead us? Well, it brings us to yet another report from Insider Gaming that claims that Ubisoft has appointed a group of leading advisors to assist with exploring companies' options moving forward. Quote, following the strategic and execution reviews initiated by the executive committee a few months ago, Ubisoft is taking decisive steps to reshape the group in order to deliver the best in-class player experience, enhanced operational efficiency, and maximize value creation. Now Yves Guillemot chimed in once more and stated that this group will, quote, review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. Now, sometime within the past few weeks, a rumor sneaked by me that apparently Tencent is in the ring to potentially acquire Ubisoft, which a studio acquisition at this point really wouldn't surprise me, but I do think by the end of the year, something like that does happen. But I do want to say this is coming from a massive Assassin's Creed fan who grew up playing all these games. Hell, I even stick up for Valhalla, which I still enjoyed, but Ubisoft still continued to make bad choices all around, and more often than not, they doubled down on them, which has gotten us to this point in time where I really don't feel sorry for Ubisoft, mainly because they made these choices. They knew what they were getting into, yet here we are, potentially facing a sell-off, closure, or whatever else have you. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass it off to you guys. What do you think happens to Ubisoft in the near future? And by the end of the year, is my prediction right? Are we selling off Ubisoft to Tencent or some other company? But that about does it here. I've been KLO, I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.